This is everything sent to me for the month of October 2021. Starting with the X-Men, as always. This stack's been getting a little bit smaller now. Jonathan Hickman's book Inferno's out. He's only got till December to finish it, or it'll be done in December, I should say. It's not like he's got a deadline to finish it by the end of the year. And then his time with the X-Men is up. And as I told myself 2 years ago when he started writing X-Men, once he's off the books, I will stop reading them as well. He didn't get to quite finish his entire run or what he wanted to do, I guess, but he's happy with where the X-Men are at. Marvel's obviously happy where it's at. All the others are happy where it's at, so they're going to continue it on without Hickman. He said he might come back, that's obviously just in Marvel promos. He does have another Marvel project in the works they haven't announced yet, and then he's got his own stuff on the side too. Starting off the Hellions though, this book is actually going to come to an end. I think December is the last issue, so things will get wrapped up nicely. I think it's the last issue because I've seen some of these characters in previews for other X-Men titles come January where things will start to shake up to after Hickman's gone off the book. But this cover hints at somebody being killed, and I doubt that because X-Men don't die; they just get resurrected. New Mutants, I think this book ends as well. Maybe not, but this whole thing with the Shadow King is definitely reaching its climax. They're definitely going to start probably fighting him directly or solving it. I really enjoyed this story because I like the idea of you have all these villains on Krakoa and they're not supposed to be doing villain things, but the Shadow King definitely is. Onslaught definitely is. So be curious to see how that wraps up. Excalibur. This book, I don't know if this is ending or not, but of all the X-Men books I said, this one's okay. It's been fine. The new arc is mediocre. It's not terrible. It's all right. But this book was more exciting when Apocalypse was in it, and it was kind of leading up to the X of Swords. And after that event, I found it's been kind of dragging its feet a bit. Main X-Men book, still one of my favorite X-Men titles. This is awesome. This one definitely carries over after everything. And I think they fight Nightmare. I think that's why you see Cyclops as the Headless Horseman. Or it could be a Halloween cover. I don't know. I didn't request that, but hey, it's pretty nice. X-Force, still one of my favorite books of the X-Men line. I think this one definitely carries over as well. Makes sense, a lot of carries here. Now in this one, I think Colossus, his brother is Rasputin. His brother's been up to some dirty stuff in Russia, and I think they're going to ask Colossus, to jump back in and get his hands dirty, so to speak, see some blood on there. Because really, Colossus has been kind of semi-retired. He's been living on the Savage Land, farming and painting and living with his new girlfriend. I don't know her name. But Sword, this book I really had high hopes for. I think it's going to come to an end as well. I don't think it's going to carry on too much after Inferno ends. It just got bogged down by having to tie into other books, which really sucks. Nothing hurts a book more than having to tie into all these other Marvel stories that, well, I didn't read any of them, so. But I really like Abigail Brand, so I hope she sticks around. Maybe another X-Men book. I was hoping after they terraform Mars into a mutant planet that Sword would really grow in importance. The last issue certainly tied in a lot. It was basically Sword and Storm talking about the new planet. And I kind of, side tangent, I think the Mutants in Space was Hickman's Act 2 of his X-Men arc. I think it was going to end, Krakoa was just it wasn't going to work out on Earth for them. They just realized we can never make it work here. So we'll just colonize a planet and we'll just go there. And I like the idea of the mutant race being the main species for the Sol system and kind of moving into the Marvel Galactic stories. That would be really cool. Maybe one day Hickman will come back. That's just me theory crafting. That's not actually what's going to happen or anything. Wolverine, this book definitely carries on because you can just have Wolverine go and do what he does best. He's in a team with Maverick, who he saved. He wishes back, so that'd be kind of cool. I like anything that ties into Wolverine's past. Trial of Magneto. 2 issues in, this really did not need to be its own book. It was meant to be just an arc in X Factor, which was canceled, so they could just do this as its own big kind of marquee book, and it just doesn't feel like a big marquee book. Nothing against the story, it's fine. It's just not the stakes aren't that high. Magneto's not on trial still. And the last issue, the Scar Witch just showed back up at the end, but I think maybe Magneto resurrected her, which maybe they'll explain that here, because she just shows up at the end and she's a younger version, more an older version I would say, where she's still married to Vision and she runs up and kisses him. Everyone's like, whoa, what's going on there? Marauders, this book won't end in December, but I think they're gonna get a whole new crew. That's what was hinted at. Um, After in like January, like even the cover you see like Deacon and Psylocke on there. So it's been just kind of treading water. But Phil Noto's been doing the art, so I'm a big fan of Phil Noto. So it's kind of cool doing some villains for them. And then Inferno, which is really the big X-Men book I really look forward to now because this is the only one written by Hickman. The last one was cool because Moira's showing up finally again, and she basically reveals she asked Charles and Eric to make sure two things don't happen. Don't let Nimrod go online, and don't let Destiny get resurrected. And both have happened because the end of this first issue, Destiny shows up at the Quiet Council, and Mystique is like, I want to give one of the empty seats to her. So I'm sure we'll figure out why she was resurrected, and I'm sure Emma Frost finds out what's going on because obviously, you know, she's got both helmets there and everything. So kind of cool. That's all my X-Men stuff coming to an end soon. So the stacks, you kind of compare them. It's not getting too much shorter next year, even though some of these books are ending as well. So this is the last issue of Hey Kids Comics, Volume 2, Profits and Loss, taking place in 1982, the California SunCon, which is basically just San Diego Comic Con. I'm pretty sure there might be a Volume 3. I don't know. Volume 3 is definitely going to be moving into like the 90s, so I'd be curious to read that because I really like that book. The Me You Love in the Dark, super fun little horror book. Artist moves into a house. There's a ghost because she moves in because she thinks she's told it's haunted. It's like, oh, that'll help my creativity and get me past this creator's block. And then she starts talking to the ghost or the house. The ghost in the house. Could be both. But it's fun. I really like the art. I don't think I've ever purchased anything that was by this Jorge Corona, but he's got kind of like a Sean Murphy, Scotty Young vibe, which is kind of funny because Scotty Young does write this book, but I'll keep an eye out for his name. I really like it, so I'll pick up more stuff by him. Defenders. This is the kind of book I just would want to see more and more of. Not so much the Defenders, which I'd love to see more Defenders, but just a kind of out of continuity Marvel story where you just have a writer takes a bunch of characters he likes, doesn't spend too much time having to give all their backstory, and just throws them into an adventure, and it's just super fun. The art's fantastic. Javier Rodriguez is killing it. And yeah, I love this book. I wish there was more stuff like this from Marvel, but we'll see. I got 2 issues of Black Hammer Reborn. I think one just got a little delayed, but yeah, things are definitely heating up. Colonel Weird shows up and tells everybody that the Black Hammer, she's not going to save everybody and the world will end. So that's a great way to end a book. And then I'm pretty sure, well, they haven't hinted, but I got a good feeling that the current Black Hammer, her daughter will become the next Black Hammer, but they're starting to fill in some gaps of why she stopped being the Black Hammer and stuff too. So I think this only might be like maybe 12, 13 issues like all the other Black Hammers, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But still digging that. Every month I show this book, everyone say I can't say nothing but good things about the 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. If these guys do anything else, I'll pick it up. This book's been so much good. This is probably one of my favorite books of the year, easily. It just keeps getting better and better. It's laugh out loud funny. Well, I find it funny anyways, but yeah, it's really good, and happy I took a chance on that. The Unbelievable Unteens, this is a really cool concept. I really like the idea of the writer. She writes a comic book, and it turns out that it's actually her memories or the stories, and she lived that life, and she's now trying to figure out what happened and why she became the writer, and she's not a superhero anymore. It's a really fun book. Tyler Crook is perfect on the art because they're kind of a horror kind of vibe. It's not like a horror book, but it's got like a spooky vibe, so I love this cover too. This is just awesome. Bermuda, issue 4. This is the end of this series. I'm pretty sure there'll be a volume 2. I don't think they're gonna wrap things up. If there is, I'll definitely pick this whole series up in a trade, and then I'll probably just pick up whatever volume 2 starts up as a trade. They haven't announced a volume 2, but they've done a lot of good world building and set up a lot of cool stuff, so I could see it. But it'd also be nice if it was just one and done. That'd be fine too. Fight Girls. There's only 2 issues of this book, and I don't see how it ends. Like, it's got a lot to go through, so maybe there'll be a volume 2 of this as well. Pretty much anything that Frank Cho does, I end up buying like a larger version because I love his art. So just like Bermuda, if there is a volume 2, I'll just wait for the trade, so to speak, and then pick up trade of volume 1. I was considering doing that at the beginning, but I've never purchased anything from this AWA publisher, so I figured, why not? Give him a shot. You saw Yojimbo, Dragon Bellow, Conspiracy. I think this is definitely the last issue of this run, and again, this is like an older Usagi story that they just colored. It was kind of cool. There's a lot of characters in this that are popping up in the newer book, Usagi, the main series I'm reading, that I didn't know too much about. So get to see a bit of their connections and backstories, and it's really good. Jupiter's Legacy, Requiem. Almost halfway through, 12 issue series. These are the aliens that she has met on her quest to find out why aliens came to Earth. So on Earth, she's like 5 strangers synced up, they hooked up, and they went to an island and they got powers. And these folks are like, well, on our planet, we had to climb a mountain and we got powers. And now, they have kids who have powers. Like it's the same thing, just on different planets. And there's another planet out there where they know that she's doing this. Like, oh, we should go to her planet and like take it over. So I'm pretty sure this will end with just aliens, them fighting aliens and figuring out what happens, and we'll see. But I'm digging it. I think like Mark Miller, so like it. Lady Baltimore. I thought this book was done. I totally forgot there was an issue 5. It's been a couple of months, so I'm not sure if this issue was delayed or they're just kind of printing all the other tie-ins. Because they have the Golem tie-in, the Skinner tie-in, and one with this character. I can't recall her name right now, but those are great books and really help build the world and kind of know more of the characters that are in this book, because there's the Golem, there's the Witch, right? So very much looking forward to more Lady Baltimore. I hope they do more. They've been building it up, so I figure that's Mike Mignola's next kind of thing. He writes a lot of stuff with Christopher Golden too, so I only find them when they're dead. This book, I'm still digging this book. This is, like I said, I gave it 6 issues because it was really slow, but issue 6 kind of rocked my socks off, and it's still doing that. So I'm kind of curious. I feel like even after this arc, they could do like another time jump or jump around. Like there's been a lot of good world building around these gods that they find dead in space that they kind of go in a few different angles, which is pretty good. So check it out. More Hellboy, Silver Lantern Club. Ben Stenbeck, he draws a lot of Hellboy stuff, a lot of the spin-offs and such. He also was actually main artist on Lord Baltimore for many years. But yeah, this is like a 5-issue series, so it should be pretty fun. I'm pretty sure that's I think that's Sir Edward Grey. So anytime you see Hellboy learn more about Sir Edward Grey, I always like the connection between those two, because they were kind of both doing the same job, just at 2 completely different eras in time. Joni Impossible Monsters, man, this book just like Sidekicks, one of my favorite books of the year. I just love this book so much. I think it's gonna get better and better. Chris Annie's just like killing on the art. It's really good. Stories really still fun. Jonah's founder sister broke her out of she hasn't broken her out yet of the underground monster hunter fight club, but she's close. She's close to get it done. Main Usagi book. So Usagi's on the road. He met his cousin that he's never met before. They're trying to save this little girl. Violence ensues, but it's Usagi. You don't see blood or anything like that, so it's nice and fun. And then Echo Lands. Man, this book is just crazy. The story is really good. I'm really digging it. Lots of tie into some really cool. Again, I keep saying good world building, but it's only the first few issues. So you got to introduce a lot of characters, but the art is just crazy good. The layouts are just nuts. Like the way that he just has panels flow into other panels and showing you things that are going to happen without even realizing it. It's really well done. I can't wait for this to get collected. I think I'll probably at some point decide to just get the collections. I'm curious to see how big they'll be. I'm hoping for something that's a little bit bigger, so there's more page space to just see more of the art. And I'll probably stop getting this monthly and just pick that up like that. But that's all the singles. Did get actually a pretty good chunk of trades this month as well. First of all, I got the Dark Horse Book of Horror. This is just a bunch of collections. It's in a horror anthology from Dark Horse. You saw there's some Hellboy stuff in there. This was collected or originally came out a few years ago. So there's like hauntings was a theme, witchcraft was an issue, the dead and the monsters. So lots of classic artists and cartoonists that have worked at Dark Horse at some point. So you got Mike Mignola, Jill Thompson, even Dorgan, Sean Phillips. Nice, okay. Good to see him there. This Marvel Meow. I picked this up just because, I don't know, it's made with Viz. It's a collaboration with Viz Media, but I like cats. I have a couple of myself, so, just some short comics of heroes and their cats. It's like Galactus has a cat. Awesome. Silver Surfer. Cool. Okay. So, yeah, just a fun read. I just like to pick these up once in a while. They're just fun to read and put on your shelf. New Reckless book from Brubaker and Phillips. I'm sure this is going to be pretty awesome. I've loved all this stuff they do, obviously. I'm huge fans. I have just a box. I just label Brubaker. It's basically just all the criminal and everything he's ever done in just one short box. But I think this was originally meant to be the last one, but in his newsletter, he's hinted he's going to probably do more Reckless books, and he's got some other stuff on the go as well. So, yeah, anytime their names pop up, I'm just like, if these two guys keep working together, dude, if this is what they're going to do for the rest of their careers, just put out like 3 of these kind of, graphic novels a year, I'm all in. Like, ever since Pulp, everything they've done, everything they do is great. But since Pulp, it's been like, if this is a hint of what they're working on and what their careers are like, I'm all in. I love the idea of that. Spider-Man, Spider Shadows. This is just a what if story of what if Spider-Man became Venom? What if he kept the black costume? And what if it, I guess, slowly corrupted him? We'll see. Should be fun. I love these kind of stories too, so a little good what if, especially with Spider-Man. The Complete Luther Strode. So this collects all 3 Luther Strode books. Strange Talents, of Luther Strode, The Legend of Luther Strode, and The Legacy of Luther Strode. It's basically Luther Strode is just like a nerdy kid who gets picked on, and then one day he sees an ad. He's like, if you get this book and follow my training, you'll get buff and chicks will dig you. So he buys it and he starts using it and he gets buff and becomes like an ultimate fighter warrior. And he meets the guys like, oh, I send this book out, millions of copies, and maybe one person gets it and you're that person. So come with me and we'll take over the world or something. He's like, I don't want to do that. Ends up fighting them, but it's cool. It's a fun series. I really like Trad Moore. He's done a couple of Marvel books. Silver Surfer Black, I highly recommend. It's really good. But the fighting is really good. The action scenes are really well done. And yeah, love Trad Moore. And then Something is Killing the Children. I picked up the first hardcover volume of this. I got a free copy of issue 1 months ago. I thought it was a mistake. I was like, why do I have Something is Killing the Children #1? And like an 8th printing at that. So when I contacted my shop, they said, oh no, everyone who's currently reading Berserker, which is from the same publisher, Boom Studios, gets a free copy of the Something's Killing the Children. So I made a joke. It's like, oh, if I read this, I'm probably going to like it because I've heard good things. And yeah, I read it and I really liked it. So I waited and I got this nice hardcover trade of the first collection. So yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to reading more of that story. Then finally, I've got this Sky Masters of the Space Force. This is a newspaper strip from like the early 60s, drawn by Jack Kirby, written by Dick and Dave Wood. But what's really, really rad about this is Wally Wood is doing the inks on Jack Kirby's pencils, which a collaboration between Jack Kirby and Wally Wood would be, that's a dream team. You would love to see that in like a major Marvel book. I don't think it's ever happened. I think this is the only time they collaborate like that. So it's pretty cool. This is, it's newspaper print strips, so this is not a book you want to sit and read in one go. It's honestly be kind of boring because it's just the pacing would be really off because you're meant to kind of read. You're normally reading like 3 panels a day and then waiting for tomorrow's paper to read the rest. But these were done before Jack Kirby was at Marvel. I think these are like early, let's see the dates here. Yeah, you're looking at 1958 to 1961. So that's before he went, I guess, technically back to Marvel to do Fantastic Four. So before like the age of Marvel with Stan Lee, Jack Kirby was looking for work. Yeah, they got a blip here. See Boy Commandos. That was like his big book at the time, Young Love. So before he really was the Jack Kirby, I guess most people know, doing all the stuff with Marvel, he did this Sky Masters and the Space Force. And it's about guys trying to go to space. I'm sure it ties into like a lot of, Cold War, America versus Russia, and the space race stuff. But this came out before man landed on the moon. I remember reading something when I was looking into this, so like just some of the designs. People were like, how did you figure this out? Like, did you talk to people at NASA? And he's like, no, I just kind of thought about how things we built, and he just kind of did it. But yeah, that's everything I got for October 2021. So as always, send me your cheers, and let me know what you think. Talk to you next time.